Episode 5. Lines in the dark lashed against the tall windows of Asheville Manor, turning the world beyond into a blur of silver and shadow. Inside the grand estate, the fire crackled low in the marble hearth, casting flickering orange light across the dark oak panels and the polished floor. Amara Vale sat curled up in a velvet armchair, her legs tucked beneath her, her eyes fixed on the fire but her mind far from it. Since the night in the bath, she had barely seen Cassian. The man who had once haunted her every breath now kept his distance, cloaked in silence and shadows. They had been intimate that night, but it was fine since they both consented to breaking that rule of the contract. It should have been a relief that she got the space she always wanted, but it wasn't. Not when she woke in cold sweat, her heart racing with memories of his lips, the bruising intensity of his touch, the terrifying magnetism that drew her in even when she wanted to run. Cassian Drake was a storm, and she was caught in the eye of it. Amara didn't know when he had returned home that morning. His side of the bed had been untouched. His scent lingered faintly in the hallway, a mixture of sandalwood, musk, and something darker, a scent that curled inside her like smoke. She reached for the glass of red wine on the side table, took a long sip, and tried to calm her nerves. It was nearing midnight. The storm outside had grown louder, thunder grumbling like a beast prowling the horizon. The sound echoed through the empty hallways. Deep and ominous. Then she heard it. Footsteps. Slow, steady, heavy. Her fingers tightened around the stem of the glass. The doors to the library opened with a creak. Cassian stood there, his black overcoat soaked, his jaw shadowed with stubble, his eyes dark and unreadable. He looked like he'd walked out of the night itself. And for a moment Amara couldn't breathe. He said nothing, just walked to the liquor cabinet and poured himself a glass of scotch. The silence between them was thick, alive with tension. Unspoken things hung in the air, what they were, what they could never be, what burned beneath the surface. Couldn't sleep, he asked, finally. She shook her head, setting down her wine. The storm. Cassian gave a faint nod. He took a seat on the opposite side of the fireplace, loosening the buttons of his coat. For a moment, neither spoke. Only the crackle of fire and the drumbeat of rain filled the room. "You haven't been home much," Amara said, voice quiet. "Business. What kind of business keeps a man away from his wife for 3 nights straight?" His gaze lifted, sharp and cold. "You forget this isn't a real marriage." Her breath caught. The word stung more than she expected. She straightened in her seat. "No, it isn't, but we signed a contract. We're bound by something." Cassian leaned forward, his elbows on his knees, the glass turning slowly in his hands. "You want a husband, Amara? A real one? You want someone to kiss you goodnight and make you pancakes in the morning?" "That's not me." She swallowed hard. "I never asked for that." "Then stop pretending we're something we're not." The fire popped loudly. She flinched. Cassian rose, but instead of walking away, he came to stand behind her. His hand brushed the back of her neck, his fingers cool against her skin. "You want something from me?" he murmured. She turned slowly, rising to meet his gaze. "I want the truth about what happened that night, about the man I married." A muscle ticked in his jaw. "You don't want my truth. You want a version of me that doesn't exist. Then show me who you really are. Stop hiding. Stop using this marriage as a mask." His eyes burned with something dark, dangerous. "You want to see the real Cassian Drake?" She nodded, her heart racing. He leaned down, his lips brushing her ear. "Then don't cry when the mask comes off." In one swift movement, he gripped her wrist and pulled her to him. The kiss that followed was brutal, raw, and desperate. It wasn't love. It was possession. A warning. A declaration. His hands were in her hair, around her waist, on her skin. The lines between hate and want blurred until there was nothing left but fire. When he finally pulled away, they were both breathless. You think I'm the monster, Amara? He asked. You haven't seen the half of it. She touched her lips, swollen from his kiss. Then, show me. Cassian studied her. The storm howled behind them, but he didn't move. Tomorrow, he said at last. Be ready by 8. No questions. Where are we going? His smile was razor sharp. To see what kind of monster I really am. Morning came cloaked in mist. Cassian didn't speak as he drove. The car wound through unfamiliar streets until they reached an old iron gate, rusted and overgrown. It creaked open, revealing a long path toward a mansion not unlike Drake Manor. Only this one looked abandoned, haunted by ghosts of the past. They stepped out. Amara's heels clicked against the stone path. This was my father's house, Cassian said. The place I learned that love is just a currency. And power. Power is everything. Inside, the air smelled of mold and memories. The walls bore faded portraits, and the furniture was covered in sheets. Cassian led her through the halls, stopping before a locked door. He unlocked it and stepped aside. This is where the deal was struck. My inheritance for silence, blood for loyalty. Inside was a study. Papers still lay on the desk, yellowed with time. In the center was a ledger, names, numbers, transactions. This is what my family built, he said. Casinos, drugs, girls. Amara felt her stomach turn. And you're continuing it? I'm changing it. Slowly. But the roots run deep. He turned to her. You asked for the truth. Now you have it. You're married to a man with blood on his hands and ghosts in his chest. Amara reached out, her hand trembling. She touched his cheek. Then let me help you fight them. He looked at her, surprised. What if I don't want saving? Then maybe I'll burn with you. But I won't walk away. Something shifted in his eyes. The mask cracked, just a little. He leaned in. His voice was hoarse. God help us both, Amara Vale. Back at Ashvale Manor, as the rain began again, Amara stood by the window and watched Cassian pace the hallway on the phone. She had stepped into his world now, a world built on contracts and violence, lies and twisted truths, and maybe she was already too far in. But the line between darkness and love was thinner than she ever imagined, and she had just crossed it.